Hello everybody, my name is King Jackal, and welcome to World of Tanks Blitz yet again. So today we're going to cover the chaffe for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Now these are some of the best gameplays I could come up with in this week. Hopefully you guys can understand how this goes, and these are some of the better games, because I was just starting this new light line for World of Tanks Blitz, and I have yet to actually master it. As a matter of fact, I had finished grinding through the chaffe by this time, and I'm actually working on the T-37 right now. I'm actually currently grinding up through it, and it is not an easy grind. These things do not make credits whatsoever, but they do make experience. So in terms of XP, grinding through it is easy, but in terms of credits, these things are, well, they're money pits. That's the problem. A little bit of lag there. But once you figure out what you're doing, you can usually just get with the program and see what you need to do. Now, some of these games are pretty laggy. I'm very sorry about that. Oh, leopard. Let's get a nice little side shot on him. Boom. Back off for the reload. Now, the one thing is with this, there is no autoloader on this one yet. The T-37 does have an autoloader, and I do like that it has an autoloader, but the autoloader does not impress me very much on the T-37, but enough about that. Back to the chaffe. Now, the chaffe is a very fast mobile vehicle for its tier, and I'd like to say this. It's a very good tank for what you need it to do. Now, it's not the fastest firing, but it will get the job done. What it has is a very similar gun to what you get on the Sherman. And it's fast-ish firing. It gets the job done to an extent. Ooh, nice, some more nice juicy side shots. Now, I did pretty good in the chaffe, but the T-37, yet again, still need to kind of master it. It's not really impressing me too much right now, but I still have to get the engine and the tracks and the T-91 gun, which everybody claims to be the better gun. I'll have to see. But, so we're sitting here. We're doing what we can. Now, the one thing is with the chaffe is there's legitimately just no armor whatsoever. So you need to constantly be bugging out when you have the chance and whenever you need to. If you don't bug out, you're pretty much just going to die. Doesn't matter. This is not a brawling tank. This is a tank that does better at range. For mid to long range engagements, this thing is perfect. But up close and personal, this thing gets destroyed, as you can tell right there. You really don't want to get up close and personal with the chaffe. If you do, it's going to bite you in the back. Now, one of the things that you do need to realize is when you're playing the chaffe, conservatism is key. You don't want to overdo it. Now, my suggested style of play for you for this tank is just kind of, don't go ahead all the time. Sometimes if you need to spot for your team, spot for your team, but once you spot those enemies, turn right around, hit the gas, and head home. You want to be behind your friends because they need to be soaking up all the damage for you. I know it sounds like a dick move to be a freaking damage vampire, which is basically what you're doing, but it's the only way you can survive. You need to remember that. So you need to kind of just lay low, stay in the back, snipe here and there, but don't stay too far back from the team. You want to basically keep up with the team as much as possible, but you're not a frontline tank. You are a second-line tank at best. So you got to keep that in mind while you're doing this. If you don't, you're going to pay the full price, because you will be punished if you put yourself too far out in the open. That's the thing with a lot of light tanks in the game. Be prepared to take a hit. Don't be afraid of taking hits, but do keep an eye on that health meter. Because if you don't, it's going to bite you in the ass. Alright, so there's no enemies on this flank right here. And as you can tell, I'm just kind of moving through, just making sure everything's just lining up perfectly. Just kind of hanging back a little bit, waiting for the rest of my team to go, and then I go. Yeah, I know, I'm the light tank. I should be spotting, but you know what? I can't spot the whole dang time. See, there's a T-37 right out there. This was an up-tiered game. And I'm surprised it did somewhat okay on this up-tiered game. Usually when light tanks in my luck, because I'm traditionally able to play with medium tanks very well. Heavy tanks I'm still trying to master here or there. But medium tanks is where it's been at for me. And you do kind of have to drive this like a medium tank at times. because you don't have that fast-firing gun to where you can get up close and personal and get away with it. You just don't. And that's the problem with this tank. And sometimes it will happen. But if you're not too careful, it will definitely bite you in the ass. And yeah. I know it may sound like that I'm giving this tank a bad rap. Trust me, I'm not. This is actually a very fun tank if you know what you're doing. All you need to do is don't do what I'm doing right now and saying hello to that SU-100Y. Yeah, those are tanks you don't want to piss off. You don't want to hang into a fight. At this point, I should have just bugged off. I should have bugged out and left, flanked around, and started taking some sniping shots. That's what I should have done, and I didn't do. I got very aggressive. As I said, I am a medium tank driver classically, so I know in a medium tank, I can take a hit once or twice. And I can afford to be a little bit aggressive. But in a light tank, being aggressive just doesn't pay off, especially with this light tank. The T-37, you can kind of get away with it a little bit if you have that autoloader. You just shoot 3 times and you're out, but don't hang around. That's the other thing you want to make sure you know about light tanks. You don't want to hang around in the fight in order to, well, you don't want to die. That's the thing. You don't hang around. Just stay on the move. See what I'm doing? I'm peeking. You'll be able to line up a shot. I should have moved, shot, and kept moving. I should have blitzed on through instead of slowing down, stopping at that corner. Or, what I had suggested earlier, flank. That's one of the things you need to realize. Sometimes, if you don't flank, it's going to bite you. But as you can see, the SU-100Y got his comeuppance, and there you go. That's how you kill an SU-100Y. You just get an STRV to do it for you. Alright, this is another one on dead rail. And sorry about that. I haven't been feeling well. I've been dealing with some issues here and there. And nothing to worry about too much, guys. But I think I actually played this one a little bit more proper, where I just kind of hang back a little bit. Because you don't want to be overly aggressive with the chaffe, because if you do, it is not pretty. Alright, let's see what we have in store in this game. Alright, so again, it's another up-tier game, and I'm in my favorite side of the map, and that's my favorite little spot right over here. That is like the best spot to go if you're a light tank. Some medium tanks it'll work, and TDs, this is like the spot to be. Because I enjoy going up here, especially if I'm in like a Hellcat or even a non-turreted TD. Like, this is like the spot to be. Like, you can kind of just get. You have 2 very good lines of sight. Oh look, a little Panzer IV that doesn't know well. Pop that, and then you just draw back behind this rock. That's basically what you need to do. And that's why I like sitting back there with light tanks, medium tanks. You just draw back behind the rock and you're good. It's like a very good spot. I don't know if the game designers like did that intentionally, knowing that it was going to be this place. I'm pretty sure they did. I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure they did it that way. Now, I see a T-14 over here. I'm going to see if I can land a nice, clean shot on him. No, Korimori Mine. Yeah, he ate that shell. And I'm just kind of peeking around, seeing what shots I can make up. T-14's all alone, and now I can take a shot, and he ate the shot. He had his armor well angled, though. Mind you, I'm only using armor piercing. And my accuracy is like trying to throw a rock while being thrown inclined. It just doesn't work out. And going to track him. I have 2 friends around here, which are going to completely take him out before he even gets a chance to shoot at me. That's a good thing. And now we have him. Oh, too late to take a shot. So basically what you want to do, you kind of want to just hang back a little bit. If you don't, it's on you. It's like, yeah, do you want to suicide today or not? It's up to you, you know? You can't just go one around. This is how you should play the chapter. Just kind of hang back a little bit, be a support tank. Because you are not a frontline tank. Just keep that in mind. Now, one thing that is good about light tanks is you have what's known as on-the-move camouflage. And with on-the-move camo, straight up, you're going to be doing amazing, like little sneaky little shitty shots. Wherever you need to be, you can pop up, take a shot, run, and actually go off the radar while you're on the move. That's actually such a good thing. Because if you're off the radar, the opponent can't see you or shoot you. And if that's that, that's that. Alright, so we're going to load up another game here. We're on Chaffee, we're on Rockfield. And this was actually a pretty good game for Rockfield. And I usually hate Rockfield. I can tell you why, because most games go one or two ways. Everybody bum rushes the wrong corner, and then you get surrounded. Or everybody splits. No, excuse me, one of three ways. So yeah, everybody bum rushes the wrong side on your team, and then they come around and flank you, or surround you, or everybody both goes to the right side, and you get totally wiped out because you don't have enough push because you have somebody hanging back in the spawn, or you actually have a competent team that splits up where the light tanks go around and scout, and the heavies and mediums are sitting there taking shots while the light tanks are going around and taking flanking shots on the opponents. And the best tanks for that on Rockfield is, for mediums, I would suggest a very heavily armored medium tank. Something like the Tier 6 Sherman Jumbo. Or a very well-armored heavy tank like the KV-2. KV-2 or the ARL-44, like you see right there, that's a very good build for light tanks. You're going to want something like a Chaffee, a VK-1601 Leopard, a VK-2801, or even an LTTB. I mean, that's another very good light tank that you could be using on this map. It's very, very mobile, and you can get into certain spots where you need to go when you need to be there. And that's the one thing. And Shermans are amazing for this map if you can drive them in the proper style in order to get around it. Let's see, that Sherman. He got away from me. And I was leading him way too much, by the way, and I shot way too early. Alright, so I'm kind of just going around and just trying to find where I can plant shots into targets. And then I see a VK-3001H. And I'm just like, I want some of that. I'm not. And he's dead before I can finish him off. So I'm going around, I'm trying to take nice, clean little shots, and I think somebody gets to this Panzer before I do. I think so. Yep. That's the end of the game. And that was a good game on Rockfield, by the way. Here we go on Winter Malyanovka. This is one of my favorite maps for lights and mediums because you can push the town and you can get a lot of good hiding spots behind the rocks over in the one area right behind the lighthouse over here. And that's a very good spot to go for lights and mediums. Now, for heavy tanks, that's also a very, very heavily gravitated spot, as that's the corner all heavies go to. And that's where they usually just duke it out and everything. And this is a heavy, medium light. This is a very well-balanced map. And that's kind of why I've always liked Malyanovka, or Winter Malyanovka. Either way, it's always been kind of a balanced map. I don't really hear a lot of complaints about this map. Now, with no uncertain terms, a lot of the maps that World Tanks make are not at all like symmetrical, and that can bring variety. Because if you have like way too much symmetry, then it doesn't make the game very interesting. But if you do have the symmetry, it makes it an even chance for both teams. The best example of a very skewed map is Mines. If you're on the attacking team, you have a very high percentage of loot. It is rare to see somebody on the attacking side win, but on a mine. It is very rare. Whereas it's a very heavily defensive map, and that's the thing. Like, you want to set up proper. You want to make sure you get everything right. Because if you're on the attacking team on that map, you are donezo. I don't care who you are, who you think you are, how you think you defense. Because it's such a very small map, you can anticipate where everybody's going to be, when they're going to be there, and how they're going to be there, and when they're going to decide to pop out and shoot. You can just predict it. That is the problem with mines. It's a very predictable map. It's a very small map, but everybody still loves it because it's a stepping stone map. Malinovka is a very well-balanced map where it doesn't really matter what side you're on. Either side has a very good chance to win. It's an almost even chance, and that's a very good thing. Another map which is heavily skewed, and it's not as to which side wins, is as to which tanks win. That would be, in this game, Fort Despair. It is a very, very heavily skewed map, but enough of that. Let's get back with the chaffe here. The chaffe, it's an amazing little tank. I love the little bugger. It's a fun little tank to drive, and I think everybody should try and drive it once or twice here. It is a beast if driven properly, but if it's not given the care and the attention it needs, it will fall on its face, kick you in the ass, and then say, please, take a little more from me. But it's a worthwhile tank. Now, another thing, if you are new to Blitz, I'm going to tell you this right now. Everybody's going to say, go Russian, go German, go French. Don't go any of those three. And here's why. You're not going to be able to have the skills needed in order to juke and whatnot. Those three nations are very easy on the driver. In other words, they're easy to learn. They're easy to master. And that, I think, can probably hurt new players. This is coming personal. Yeah, I know what a lot of people are going to say. You don't make any sense, King Jackal. What are you talking about? Personally, a very good nation that I think everybody should start on is either the British or the US. And here's why. Both have very high learning curves. And the reason why I know they have very high learning curves is because early on, before Tier 5, it's a very hard uphill climb. Before Tier 5s, you have maybe one or two solid low-tier tanks. Maybe. But otherwise, you're kind of screwed. Some of the more solid Tier 4 tanks in the US branch are tank destroyers and light tanks. Those are the only two solid branches that you can get through without wanting to throw your gosh darn phone or tablet across the room and into the vault. But, on the flip side, yeah, I just said that. Once you do get through some of the really shit tanks at Tier 4 from the US, Lee, we're all looking at you. Yeah, M3, Lee, we're all looking at you because you are absolute garbage. Once you grind through that, you will get access to the Sherman or the T1 Heavy, whichever way you choose. I would suggest going with the Sherman first, as the T1 Heavy is not a very good tank. It's not. The armor profile is It's got a lot of weak spawns frontally. It's got a large side. It's got a very high profile, a very large side, and it's basically like driving a boat. Okay, like driving a boat with huge sides, and they will not eat shots. They will take shots all day from any tank, even light tanks down from Tier 3. And it's very lightly armored on the sides, and it's extremely lightly armored on the rear. So it is not an easy tank to drive. So a lot of you guys might be saying, well, so is the Sherman. Well, the Sherman's also got a very fast firing gun and is very maneuverable. The T1 Heavy, not so much. Yeah, it's maneuverable for a heavy tank. Mind you, I said heavy tank. Otherwise, it's not very maneuverable at all. Or another good Tier 5 example is the M7. Nobody thinks the M7 is a good tank in a long-term fight. It is a very good tank in a long-term fight. It is a very fast-firing gun. It is essentially a light tank that got mistyped. It's very fast. It's got a very fast-firing gun. It is a very easy tank to pick up and learn. You just have to know what you're doing from the get-go. Now, a lot of people think it's a bad tank because there's no armor. It's very low health. But once you get that 6-pounder gun, which is an amazingly fast-firing gun. Now, do not get the 75. Just do not get the 75 and expect to do well. Just don't. It'll do okay on the chaffe. Okay? But on the chaffe, you also have access to a 76 gun. Yes, you do. I don't care what you say. You have access to it. And it's a very good tank at that. I mean, you have amazing gun depression on this tank. You can get around fast enough to wherever you need to go. I mean, 50 plus kilometers an hour isn't that bad for a Tier 5. Now, that's not as fast as the Leopard or the Crusader, but it doesn't need to be. This is not a frontline tank. It can spot. It can do whatever else you need to do. It's not a frontline runner. This is something that will get the job done. It does what it needs to, and that's fine. It is definitely not a jack of all trades tank. No, excuse me. Yeah, it is not a jack of all trades tank. This is not a brawler. This is not an armored vehicle. This is something that was basically put in place just so that the U.S. had a much more mobile light tank. That was the idea. They wanted a lower mobile light tank that was able to fit a larger gun. That was it. That was all the U.S. wanted to accomplish. Just something that can carry a larger gun and move a little bit quicker. That was it. Mind you, this doesn't go much faster than the M5. Yeah, that little Stewart at Tier 4, this doesn't go much faster. But it does house a larger gun. Now that is what we look for. It housed a larger gun. Originally, when the chaffe was first built, it was housing a 75. And when the U.S. first got it towards the end of World War II, a lot of people just looked at it as like, this looks like a Panzer. Well, it kind of does. So there were some large mix-ups because of the track design. Oh my god. I need to stop. I'm coughing. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, guys. Usually I have water sitting next to me when I do these recordings to stop that shit. But I just don't. Jesus Christ. Alright. Let's see what else we have in terms of games. Because there were a good couple of games that I had actually found on this video, and that's partially why I don't know. So this is the chaffe that I have. It's a very... Well, you're going to lose money some games, you're going to make some money. I did tell you this is not one of those tanks that's going to do very well in terms of the breeding department. About the middle. Back for what I did and where I was going and how I was doing, and I think I was pretty satisfied. I will take the satisfaction from that. It was pretty good. But what I will not take is just small little bouts of bullshit. You'll see some of it. But with this game, one thing you are going to have to be careful about is just how you do things. Because if you're not fucking careful, it will come back to haunt you, like in the ass, yada yada yada. That's the game. Now we're going to watch one last game. I know it's been a long video. You've had to sit through my voiceover in order to kind of just get with the program here. But the next video I'm going to be doing is the T-37 once I get it down and fully upgraded and everything else just attached to it. Just so that you guys can enjoy the video more. It's not the best tank for the job. Trust me, it's a tank where you need to learn what you're doing. But you can't really hate it, you know? It's a good little tank. I want to punch myself in the fucking nutsack every time I lose. And here's the thing I hate about the new light tanks, and I know what Wargaming is doing, because they added a whole new enrichment system a while ago, and nobody's bought into it. So, they had 4 new tanks. Sorry. They had 4 new light tanks. And generally, light tanks are very good at making money. Except they screw up the credit coefficients. So they force you to buy enrichment, thus deepening your pockets. And enrichment is a scam, by the way. To enrich a Tier 5 vehicle, you can get 2 weeks, no, excuse me, not 2 weeks, a month and a half of premium time. To enrich your vehicle. And that's essentially, you're basically saying, I want premium time all the time on my vehicle, but only this vehicle. Well, that's fine if that's the only vehicle in your garage. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's alright if it's the only vehicle in your garage. A lot of players have more than one vehicle in the garage, and it's a waste of money. Why not just get the premium time, right? Right. Wargaming decided to put their minds and brains and heads straight up their assholes and say, no, fuck this, let's screw them out of more money and get even more pissed. That's the thing with Wargaming that a lot of new players just don't get yet. You're gonna get screwed. Just be careful out there on the battlefield. Especially when you're in like a little light tank like the chaffe. Now, one thing I will tell you about this tank that I do absolutely love, and I don't think I've said it before. If I have, well, here we are again. This tank is too fun to turn down. I mean, it's one of those tanks where you can just sit back, kick back, not have to care about the results, and just enjoy yourself. The T-37, you have to play to your A game. You have to play your best. If you don't, it's simply just going to kick you in the ass. Now, I've played a couple of games where I've been up tier to tier 7, and the T-37 is not doing it. It's just not cutting it. And I don't know why yet. It's just not doing it at all. It's just barely there. It's just barely enough to do it. And sometimes that's the same with a lot of other tanks. It's alright if it's same tier or if it's top tier, but if it's up tiered, that's when there's issues. And that's another thing. You kind of need to learn what you're doing, how you're doing it. If you don't, it's going to bite you in the ass. It's one of those games. Like, you need to know what you're doing at all times. All the time. Now, I usually don't suggest channels to other people because, well, I need views. But if you really want to learn how to drive light tanks properly, how to drive medium tanks properly into the best of your ability, and heavy tanks to the best of your ability, and even tank skills, turret and non-turret, and even extra skills that you need to learn, check out this bloke who's from Australia. He's Bushka. His name is Bushka on Blitz on YouTube, and this guy is absolutely amazing. He'll teach you everything you need to know. Sometimes you're not going to get the information you might need. Such is life, but a lot of his information is very helpful. Like, a large amount of it is extremely helpful, and that's just how it is. Now, this is the last kill of the game. I thought this was the best game I had. I did very well, especially for the chaffe. Mostly, in this situation, if I had my Sherman, I think I would have done a hell of a lot better. As I would have been able to eat maybe 1 or 2 shots and kept moving. And that's the thing in a light tank. Like, you're going to take a hit. If you're going to take a hit, just take it. There's nothing you can do to stop it. That's always been the problem with light tanks, but... Well, that's what it is. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next video. I'm sorry this took on a little bit longer and was more like a rant and probably droned on more than it should have had instead of giving you more jokes and more interesting